The descent. Captain Mara Lawson tightened her grip on the armrest as the spaceship Aegis plunged through the turbulent atmosphere of Enceladus 9, a planet swathed entirely in water. Outside, roiling black clouds churned in a violent storm, hammering the ship with relentless rain and lightning. The ship groaned under the strain, its hull shimmering with the energy shields struggling to repel the onslaught. "Steady as she goes," Lawson ordered, her voice calm but firm, a sharp contrast to the chaos outside. The crew, seasoned veterans handpicked for this mission, moved with practiced precision. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the marine biologist, monitored the environmental sensors, her eyes flickering between screens displaying rapidly changing data. Next to her, Chief Engineer Anik Patel adjusted the ship's stabilizers, his hands moving deftly over the controls. "This is worse than we anticipated," Patel muttered, his voice tinged with concern. "The storm's intensity is off the charts." Lawson nodded, her gaze fixed on the viewport, where flashes of lightning illuminated the tumultuous seas below. "We knew this wouldn't be easy. But we're not here to turn back." In the observation deck of an alien station orbiting the planet, Elaris watched the humans' descent with a mix of skepticism and intrigue. His species, the Rithari, had long deemed water planets as death traps, worlds where no technology could survive the crushing depths and unpredictable weather. Yet here were the humans, defying those assumptions, driven by a boldness that baffled him. "Captain Lawson, this is Elaris," came the voice over the comms, tinged with doubt. "Your trajectory is taking you directly into the eye of the storm. Are you certain you can manage?" Lawson glanced at the holographic display that projected Elaris's concerned expression. "We didn't come all this way to play it safe, Elaris. The eye of the storm is our best chance to land on stable waters." Elaris hesitated, his skepticism clear. "Your species has always been unconventional. Unconventional is what we do best," Lawson replied, a hint of a smile tugging at her lips. "We'll be fine." The ship broke through the cloud cover, revealing the vast, heaving ocean below. Enceladus 9 was a world of extremes, with waves that towered like mountains and currents that could drag a vessel to the ocean floor in seconds. The Aegis shuddered as it descended toward the surface, the ship's thrusters roaring to keep it steady. "Prepare for impact," Lawson commanded, her tone steady as she braced herself. The crew followed suit, securing their harnesses and locking down equipment. The ship hit the water with a bone-jarring thud, the impact sending a cascade of spray into the air. For a moment, the Aegis was submerged beneath the churning waves before the thrusters kicked in, propelling it back to the surface. The ship stabilized, bobbing on the tumultuous sea like a cork. The crew exhaled collectively, the tension in the cabin palpable. But there was no time to relax. The storm was far from over, and the real challenge lay ahead, surviving on this treacherous planet and proving that humanity was capable of overcoming even the deadliest of environments. "Status report," Lawson called out, her voice cutting through the din of the storm. "Shields holding at 70%, Patel reported. "Hull integrity stable." "Elena?" Lawson turned to the marine biologist, who was already scanning the ocean depths. "Water's teeming with life," Elena replied, her voice filled with awe. "But it's hostile. We'll need to be cautious." Lawson nodded, her mind already racing with plans. "We proceed as planned. This is just the beginning. We'll show them what humans are made of." Elaris watched in silence, a seed of doubt beginning to take root. Perhaps, he thought, these humans were not as reckless as they seemed. Perhaps they might succeed where others had failed. The thought both intrigued and unsettled him, as he continued to monitor their progress, waiting to see if they would defy the odds, or succumb to the planet's wrath. As the storm raged on, the Aegis pressed forward, a small beacon of human determination in the vast, unforgiving ocean. The ocean swallowed the Aegis whole as it began its descent into the depths of Enceladus 9. The storm's fury faded, replaced by an eerie calm as the ship plunged deeper into the unknown. The only sounds were the hum of the engines and the creaking of the hull as it adjusted to the increasing pressure. The crew, tense and focused, moved with quiet efficiency. "Depth at 500 meters and dropping," Dr. Elena Vasquez reported, her voice steady despite the anxiety tightening her chest. The holographic display in front of her glowed with data streams, mapping the alien world's hidden secrets in real time. Captain Mira Lawson stood behind her, eyes locked on the viewport. The darkness outside was almost absolute, broken only by the soft, bioluminescent glow of creatures that drifted past, their forms alien and hauntingly beautiful. Keep an eye out for anything unusual. We're in uncharted territory. Define unusual on a planet like this, quipped Lieutenant Mark Ryder, the ship's weapons specialist. His attempt at humor fell flat, the tension in the room too thick to be pierced by levity. Anything that might want to eat us, Lawson replied dryly, her gaze never wavering from the dark waters. Or worse. The Aegis continued its descent, the pressure mounting with every meter. The ship's hull groaned in protest, but it held firm, a testament to human engineering. Elena's fingers danced over the controls, adjusting their trajectory as the sensors picked up a massive structure far below. Captain, I'm detecting an anomaly, 2,000 meters down. It's huge. Lawson leaned over her shoulder, studying the readings. The structure was unlike anything they had seen before, vast, with complex geometries that suggested intelligence, yet ancient and overgrown with alien coral and strange, luminescent flora. Could it be a natural formation? Asked Patel, his voice tinged with curiosity. Elena shook her head. No. This is something else. Something built. Lawson's mind raced. They had come here to explore, to push the boundaries of human knowledge, but this was beyond anything they had imagined. Prepare for closer inspection. Patel, I want the submersibles ready for launch. Ryder, keep our defenses on standby. We don't know what we're dealing with. As the crew set to work, the Aegis hovered above the mysterious structure, its lights illuminating a sprawling, ancient city submerged beneath the waves. Towers rose from the ocean floor, encrusted with centuries of marine growth, their origins lost to time. Strange symbols adorned the stone, glowing faintly in the darkness. Captain, this place, it's been abandoned for a long time, Elena said, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the stillness of the city. Whoever built this, they're long gone. Or they're hiding, Ryder muttered, his hand hovering near the weapon controls. Lawson frowned. There was something unsettling about this place, something that set her nerves on edge. But there was also an undeniable pull, a curiosity, a need to understand what had happened here. We proceed with caution. We're here to learn, not to provoke. Suddenly, the ship's sensors flared, detecting movement below. Something large, very large, stirred within the depths of the ancient city. The crew tensed, every eye on the viewport as a massive shadow shifted in the darkness, its outline barely visible but unmistakably alive. Captain, we've got company, Ryder warned, his voice tight. Hold position, Lawson ordered, her heart pounding in her chest. She couldn't see it clearly, but she could feel it, something ancient, powerful, and very much aware of their presence. The shadow moved again, faster this time, circling the Aegis with an unsettling grace. The crew held their breath, waiting for the inevitable. The tension in the air was palpable, each second stretching into an eternity. Then, without warning, the creature lunged, a blur of motion in the dark water. The ship rocked violently as it slammed into them, alarms blaring as the shields struggled to absorb the impact. Shields down to 40%! Patel shouted over the noise. It's trying to breach the hull. Lawson's voice was calm, but her mind raced. Ryder, fire repulsors, now! A burst of energy shot from the Aegis, hitting the creature squarely and sending it reeling back into the abyss. The ship steadied, the alarms silencing as the immediate threat passed. But the danger was far from over. The ancient city below remained, its secrets still hidden, and whatever lurked within it was clearly not welcoming. As the crew regrouped, Lawson knew one thing for certain. They were no longer the hunters in these waters. They were the hunted. We've stirred something up, she said quietly, her eyes narrowing as she stared into the darkness. And it's just begun. The Aegis drifted cautiously above the ancient underwater city, its lights casting eerie shadows across the alien structures below. The crew moved with a tense, deliberate precision, the earlier attack still fresh in their minds. The massive creature that had struck them was gone, but its presence lingered like a shadow over their every move. Captain Mira Lawson stood at the helm, her eyes scanning the sonar display. The image of the city's intricate architecture flickered, revealing more details with each passing second. Elena, any updates on the structure? We need to know what we're dealing with. Dr. Elena Vasquez's fingers flew over the controls, her face illuminated by the glow of her monitor. This city is ancient, Captain, thousands of years old at least. The symbols suggest a highly advanced civilization, possibly predating any known species in the galaxy. But the energy readings I'm getting are unusual. There's something down there, something powerful. What kind of power? Lawson asked, her brow furrowing. Elena hesitated. It's unlike anything we've encountered. It's almost as if the city itself is alive, or at least still functioning on some level. The energy signatures are fluctuating, but there's a definite pattern, almost like a heartbeat. A shiver ran down Lawson's spine. A living city? That's concerning. Ryder, keep weapons hot. I don't want to be caught off guard again. Lieutenant Mark Ryder nodded, his expression grim as he prepped the ship's defenses. If that thing comes back, we'll be ready. The Aegis inched closer to the city, its lights revealing more of the intricate carvings and strange flora that clung to the alien stonework. The water around them grew darker, thicker, as if the ocean itself was reacting to their presence. The sensors picked up strange vibrations, resonating through the hull like the distant rumble of thunder. Patel frowned as he monitored the ship's systems. Captain, I'm picking up another anomaly, this time below us. It's big, and it's moving. Lawson's eyes narrowed. How big? Leviathan big, Patel replied, his voice tight. Before Lawson could respond, the ship lurched violently to the side as something massive brushed against it, sending shockwaves through the hull. The lights flickered, and alarms blared as the Aegis struggled to stabilize. It's back! Ryder shouted, his hands flying over the weapon's controls. Targeting now! The creature reappeared on the sonar, a massive silhouette circling them like a predator stalking its prey. Its form was elusive, shifting in the water like a shadow made flesh. The crew braced themselves as it charged, its immense bulk crashing into the ship with a force that rattled the entire structure. Shields down to 20%, Patel called out, his voice strained. We can't take another hit like that. Ryder, fire everything we've got, Lawson ordered, her voice steely with resolve. The Aegis unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, lighting up the dark waters with their intensity. The creature roared in response, a sound that reverberated through the ocean like an earthquake. It recoiled, retreating into the depths, but the damage was done. The ship's shields flickered weakly, struggling to hold. Captain, we're not going to last much longer, Elena warned, her face pale. We need to get out of here. Lawson knew she was right, but something kept her from giving the order to retreat. The city below them pulsed with energy, a silent call that tugged at her instincts. There was something here, something worth the risk. No. We're not leaving yet. There's more at stake here than just our survival. If we don't find out what's powering this place, it could be a threat to the entire galaxy. The crew exchanged uneasy glances but trusted her judgment. The ship descended further, closer to the heart of the city. The energy readings spiked, the air thick with tension as the Aegis approached what appeared to be a central chamber, a massive dome-like structure that dominated the landscape. This is it, Elena whispered, her eyes wide with awe. The source of the energy. It's inside. Ryder, stand by, Lawson ordered, her voice low. Elena, Patel, prepare to scan the chamber. We're going in. The ship hovered over the entrance to the chamber, its lights penetrating the darkness. Inside, the energy pulsed rhythmically, casting an otherworldly glow on the walls. The crew held their breath as the ship descended into the chamber, the tension palpable as they crossed the threshold. As they entered, the energy flared brightly, illuminating a colossal figure at the center of the chamber, an ancient, alien construct, still functioning despite millennia under the ocean. Its form was awe-inspiring, both beautiful and terrifying in its complexity. And then it moved. The chambers shook as the construct came to life, its eyes, if they could be called that, glowing with an ancient intelligence. The Aegis' systems went haywire, the ship shaking violently as the construct's power surged through the water. "Captain, it's reacting to us!" Elena shouted over the chaos. "I think it's trying to communicate." Lawson's heart pounded in her chest. This was the moment of truth, whether they would unlock the secrets of this ancient city or face their doom at the hands of its guardian. "Everyone, hold on! We're not done yet!" The construct's energy surged, enveloping the Aegis in a blinding light. The crew shielded their eyes as the ship was pulled deeper into the chamber, toward the heart of the construct itself. And then, everything went still. The Aegis floated in eerie silence, bathed in the luminescent glow of the ancient construct. The air hummed with energy, a living pulse that resonated through the ship's hull and into the hearts of the crew. Captain Mara Lawson stood at the helm, her gaze fixed on the alien structure that loomed before them, a being of immense power, ancient and incomprehensible. "Captain, the systems are stabilizing, but we're still locked in," Lieutenant Mark Ryder reported, his voice tight with tension. "Whatever that thing is, it's got us in its grasp. Keep the weapons ready, but hold fire," Lawson ordered, her eyes narrowing as she studied the construct. "If it wanted to destroy us, it would have done so already. There's something else going on here." Dr. Elena Vasquez, her fingers trembling slightly, continued her scans. The construct's energy signature was unlike anything she had ever encountered, immense, yet intricately controlled. It was as if the entire city was a single, unified entity, with this construct at its core. "Captain, I think it's trying to communicate with us. The energy fluctuations, they're too patterned to be random. It's almost like a language. Can you decipher it?" Lawson asked, her voice steady despite the growing tension. Elena hesitated. "It's not like any language we've seen, but I'm starting to see patterns, repetitions in the energy pulses. It's like it's trying to bridge the gap between our understanding and its own." "Let's give it a chance," Lawson decided, glancing at Patel. "Keep monitoring our systems. If things go south, we need to be ready to act fast." Patel nodded, his face set in grim determination. The crew felt the weight of the moment, a fragile balance between discovery and disaster. The construct pulsed again, its energy surging through the chamber. This time, the pulses formed distinct patterns, almost like musical notes, echoing through the water around them. Elena's eyes widened. It's showing us something. A sequence, a memory maybe? I'm recording it now." The crew watched in awe as the construct's energy illuminated the chamber, casting images into the water. They saw visions of a grand civilization, thriving beneath the waves, their technology far beyond anything humanity had ever conceived. The beings that had built this city were graceful, their forms fluid and ethereal, moving through the water with an elegance that seemed almost otherworldly. But the visions soon darkened. The grand civilization was shown facing an enemy, something vast, destructive, and relentless. The once vibrant city was ravaged by war, its people forced into a desperate struggle for survival. The construct, they realized, had been their last hope, a final act of defiance against an unstoppable force. "They built it to protect their city," Lawson murmured, understanding dawning in her eyes. "But it wasn't enough. They lost everything." The images faded, leaving the crew in stunned silence. The construct's energy pulsed weakly now, its once bright glow dimming as if exhausted by the effort of communication. Elena's voice broke the silence, trembling with the weight of what they had witnessed. "It's a warning. Whatever destroyed this city, whatever wiped out these beings, it's still out there. And it's coming." Lawson felt a chill run down her spine. The implications were terrifying, an enemy so powerful it could annihilate a civilization far more advanced than humanity. And now, that enemy was on the move once more. "We have to warn the galaxy," Ryder said, his voice firm. "This isn't just about us anymore. If that thing is still out there." Lawson nodded, her resolve hardening. You're right. Patel, prepared to send a message back to command. We need to get this information out, fast. Before Patel could respond, the construct flared with a sudden burst of energy, its light blinding in its intensity. The Aegis shook violently, alarms blaring as the ship's systems went haywire. Captain, it's reacting! Something's happening! Elena shouted, frantically adjusting her controls. I think it's too much. The energy levels are off the charts. The ship's hull groaned under the strain as the construct's energy surged, flooding the chamber with raw power. The crew clung to their stations, fighting to maintain control as the ship was engulfed in the construct's light. It was as if the construct was pouring its very essence into the Aegis, the energy overwhelming their systems. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the light vanished. The ship was left drifting in the now dark chamber, the construct's energy completely spent. The only sound was the steady hum of the ship's engines as they slowly came back online. What just happened? Ryder asked, his voice hushed. Elena's voice was equally subdued, filled with awe and confusion. I think it gave us something. A piece of itself, maybe? I'm detecting a new energy source within the ship, something alive. Lawson's eyes widened. Alive? What do you mean? I don't know, Elena admitted, her voice trembling with uncertainty. But whatever it is, it's integrated with our systems now. The construct, whatever it did, it's part of us. The gravity of the situation settled over the crew. They had come seeking answers, and instead, they had become entwined with an ancient power far beyond their understanding. Lawson took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. Whatever this is, we'll figure it out, she said firmly. But first, we have to get back to command and deliver this warning. The galaxy needs to know what's coming. With that, the Aegis slowly ascended from the depths, leaving the ruined city and its ancient guardian behind. But the crew knew that they were not returning empty-handed. They carried with them the last remnants of a lost civilization, and with it, the hope that humanity might stand a chance against the darkness that loomed on the horizon.